What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back for another video in our Avengers community series, a community series that airs every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Avengers Infinity War. So we've talked about a few topics already in this community series. We're going to be talking today about the new looks for several key characters in Avengers Infinity War, kind of what their new looks are, and how we personally feel about them. We're continuing this, like I said, every single week, so let us know in the comments below if there's any topics you want us to discuss leading up to Avengers. It could be about Marvel, it could be about the Avengers in particular, whatever you guys want. Also, let us know what you guys think about this specific topic. So, Tyler, we have a couple key characters, more than a couple, but we have a few key characters that we're going to talk about that their looks have been changed, whether from what we've seen before in movies or whatnot. So we're going to list them out, and then I'm going to give it to you, and you're going to run the fine folks at home through their new looks. So we got Thanos, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America, and Spider-Man. So, Tyler, what are their changes? And then we're going to go into kind of like our reactions of what we think about said changes.
So, Captain America is in the Civil War outfit, the same suit he was wearing in Civil War. It's a lot darker. The red is kind of, a lot darker where you can't even see it. The white parts are almost gray. He's removed the star. He's removed the Avengers symbol. He's rolled up his sleeves. He grew a beard. He has longer hair. He also does not have his shield, because of the ending of Civil War. What he has now is he gets these like gauntlets from the Black Panther because he is in Wakanda, hiding out. The second biggest change to a character is Black Widow. She no longer has red hair. She's got the short white hair. Looks kind of cool. But she's got green on the front of her suit. It's like a green vest. Looks strange. She's got a staff now rather than batons. So she and Cap are extremely different looking. And we'll talk about later whether or not we actually like how they look. Next up, we're going to talk about Thor. Thor looks quite a bit different compared to how he looked in Thor Ragnarok. He's got the, the metal, the chainmail sleeves back, but this time they're like black. They're not gray or silver. They're straight up black. And in fact, almost his entire suit is pretty much all black. He's got almost a mix between the armor that he was wearing in Thor Ragnarok, but now he's got those the three circular add-ons. I don't know what else to call them. The three circles that are on both sides of his body, basically. Those were in the original suits that he was wearing in the first Avengers, the first Thor, Thor 2, the second Thor, and Avengers 2. So those are back, probably just because, it's Avengers 3, it's, we're all back together again, and they wanted to show what, the classic things that Thor in the comic books had. He's always had those. But it looks pretty cool. He's in all black, other than his red cape. He's basically black and red, where before he was kind of like blue, gray, and red, and then blonde. But his hair, because he doesn't have long hair in this one, which is the first time in an Avengers movie he's got the short hair. His hair's looking a little bit darker. It's not as blonde as it was in Thor Ragnarok, but we'll see if that actually ends up changing when we get more footage of Infinity War. And then the other thing that Thor's going to have that's different. Now, the question that we basically all should still have, is whether or not he's going to have an eye patch in Avengers Infinity War. Because he does clearly have an eye patch, but in a lot of the promotional artwork, he does not have he has a scar over his eye, but he does not have an eye patch. But sometimes he does have an eye patch. So that's extremely confusing. I don't know if Doctor Strange does something to him where it just makes everybody see two eyes instead of an eye patch. I don't know. It's just odd because usually promotional art is pretty spot on. So why there's two different arts floating around, I don't understand. But then the main thing that he's going to have that's different is his new axe. He's not going to have a hammer. Groot, and Rocket Raccoon are going to find a new weapon for Thor. Thor's new weapon is now called Stormbreaker. It's a very cool looking axe. It looks like Groot might actually help bind it together, so that's going to be pretty cool to see that. Like a little bit of teamwork and almost nostalgia in future Thor movies or whatever or whatever movies that Thor is in the future. It's going to be like Groot helped him make that weapon. So that little connection is going to be cool because I have a feeling that is going to be basically how there's a friendship between Thor and Groot. So that's going to be kind of cool to see that. And then what's cool about that, having Thor with a new weapon, is that's going to completely change his entire fighting style. Before he was spinning the hammer around and hitting and blocking and doing weird like short movements, but now that he's got an axe, he's going to be able to do, and it's like a big axe, he's going to be able to do a lot of different moves. He's going to be able to use lightning with it, differently. So it's going to almost be like he's a completely new character now. I think he's going to be a little bit more funny. He's not going to be as Shakespearean as he has been in the past. So that's pretty cool that they basically created a whole new character. Next up is Spider-Man. We've seen his Iron Spider suit in Spider-Man Homecoming at the end. He's not going to wear it the entire movie. He does start out wearing his regular Spider-Man suit in the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, but eventually he, because of the battle that's going to take place, he needs to have more armor, essentially. So then he's going to have to wear that Iron Spider suit. I assume that Tony brings it and says, you're going to need this or something like that. I was a fan. I did actually like how it looked in the comic books because it was just the red and the gold. I'm not too into the red, blue, gold, and black. I don't like the version that we're seeing here. I honestly hope that he doesn't wear it in Homecoming 2 or whatever they call it. I hope it's just kind of like an Avengers type thing because I'm not digging how he looks. The next one that we're going to talk about is Hawkeye. Hawkeye now has a mohawk. Now, whether or not he starts the movie with a mohawk, I don't know. I don't think he's going to. But he's going to have a mohawk. He's going to have a tattoo sleeve on his, I believe it's his left arm. So big change for him. He's obviously going to have a different suit. He's going to change from being Hawkeye to Ronin. I believe he's going to wield, dual wield actually, swords. He may keep the bow. We'll see. For this change, I have a feeling he's going to lose either his kids or his wife and kids. Probably that last one. Just because it's such a big, different change for this character. I feel like his wife's probably like, you're not allowed to have tattoos as long as I'm alive. So she's dead. So he's like, well, now I can finally have tattoos. That was a joke. It was actually a sick joke, but who knows? You never know. Now we're going to talk about Iron Man. In every single movie, Iron Man has a new suit. So this movie is not going to be any different than any previous movie. Sometimes he has more than one suit in a movie. This time around, though, what it looks like based on the trailer, which is exactly like how it was in the comic book, is he's going to have a suit that can go on his body, much like how Black Panther's does in the Black Panther movie. I wouldn't be surprised if Black Panther, how he established at the end of the movie, Wakanda tech is going to, go throughout the world now. It's not going to be hidden. I wouldn't be surprised if he helps Tony Stark with that. In the comic books, Tony Stark's the one who actually does it. It's in his cells, blah, 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 and it could come out at will. So this time it's going to come out at will, but probably due to Black Panther, which, again, that's like a nostalgia thing. That's pretty cool. What it looks like Iron Man's new suit's going to be able to do is basically change shape, like manifest however he kind of wants. Because there's promotional images where he's got like these big wings on his back. There's also, I believe it's either from a Lego set or it's from something else where he has a big sword. He's wielding a big Iron Man style sword. He's also got a massive arm cannon, and isn't it? Some people believe he might lose his arm because of the arm cannon, which means that he can't have a hand there. But if you just zoom in on the picture, you could clearly see a hand in between the massive cannon. So I don't believe he's going to lose an arm whatsoever. What's going to be interesting, though, is the sword wielding of Iron Man, because we're so used to him having lasers. Now, that's going to lead into my next thing. Now, that's just based on a Lego set. So he might not end up having a sword. We'll find out. But that's going to lead into the final character, and that is Thanos. And as we've discussed before, he is no longer wearing armor in Avengers Infinity War. I believe at the end, based on certain images and a toy, I think that leaked, an image of a toy that leaked, he is going to wear a new set of armor, probably at the end of the film, when he, for the final battle, he's probably going to wear armor. And according to, I believe, a Lego set that was leaked, he actually has, I think he might even have two swords. So I don't know if Thanos and Iron Man are going to have a sword fight or what. But according to these leaks, according to these toys, which are usually semi-accurate, unless Thanos had like a car, and you know how like Spider-Man has cars, and it's like, why does Spider-Man need a car? Because toys. I think swords are a little bit different than cars. So that might be, the only reason I'm saying it here is because Thanos, he isn't wearing armor, then he is going to have armor, but it's a whole new set of armor, and he also might have a sword or two swords, which is completely different than anything we've seen of Thanos yet, because as far as we know, he doesn't wield any weapon other than the Infinity Gauntlet. Now, some people think that he's changed color, or his purple has changed or whatever, but what people fail to see or understand is that he was on a different planet that has more of a yellow hue to it, so he's obviously going to look different depending on the lighting. So I don't believe he's any different than before. Maybe his facial features might be different than before, and because he wasn't always played by Josh Brolin. So now that he is played by Josh Brolin, they probably made him look a little bit more like him. But I don't think he's that much different at all, other than the face that turns and looks at us at the end of the first Avengers movie. That's the only one that's different than the Thanoses that we've been seeing recently. So I don't think, other than him not wearing armor compared to and his new armor, he's essentially no different than what we've seen before.
So I like most of these changes. I think, in a movie with so many characters that we've seen before, I do think it's important that some of them, not all of them, have kind of cosmetic changes and they look a little bit different, kind of to refreshen just how they look and who they are a little bit. But also, the way they look does tell a lot about their characters. And for me personally, some that I'm really looking forward to is Cap. Cap is probably the biggest change I'm looking forward to. And I think the way he looks, how Tyler was saying, he grew his beard and he really has erased a lot of the things that really resemble the Avengers. He looks like a different guy, and he I think will act a little bit different in this movie. So I'm excited to see how he acts. I think his change, maybe more than anybody, really reflects the kind of mentality that he has. He's obviously gone through quite a bit in the movie, so I'm really, really excited to see him in the new look. They even made that a very big thing in the trailer, where he kind of walks out of the shadows and he's brand new. We see him catch the spear of the Black Horse. So he's doing some stuff, but the first time we ever see him in the trailers, and I think that will be somewhat how we see him in the movie. I think it'll be a little mysterious that we don't necessarily know it's him, and he'll step out and we'll just see the new Cap. I'm really looking forward to that. So he's the one I'm looking forward to the most. The Black Widow thing, look, I'm not a fan of that character to begin with. I've said it before, kind of maybe off camera, but just for the duration of the Marvel movies, I've always thought Black Widow and to a lesser extent Hawkeye are just big wastes. They're not Avengers compared to like Scarlet Witch or something. So I don't really care about their characters. The hairstyle is okay. She looks older. Even though she's only like 33, she looks like she's 40 now. So I guess she looks older. So I'm not really looking forward. That doesn't really bother me. But I'm excited to see. Spider-Man's suit is an interesting one. I think I'm looking forward to it maybe a little bit more than Tyler. I agree with Tyler with Thanos. I don't necessarily agree. I know he looks a little bit different, and as Tyler just said, kind of why. It's really just the way the lighting is. I actually like how he looks. I know a lot of people kind of follow the one up with he doesn't look the same, and then they follow it up with, I don't like the way he looks. I do like the way he looks. I think he looks really, really cool. So those are just a few of the ones that I'm looking forward to. Hawkeye, could be really, really cool to see. Hawkeye has been a character that's been getting better every single movie. The first Avengers, I think he was probably the biggest waste of a character you could have. He is not Avenger, in my personal opinion. So I'm excited to see how he would look and he would definitely, as Tyler was saying, depending on what happens to change him, to make him looks and even go by a different name, that could be very, very telling of his character as well. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on a couple of them?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how Captain America is, because clearly his attitude has changed for him to look that way, for him to debrand himself, to roll up his sleeves. He looks like dirty, where before Captain America was very clean cut and all that kind of stuff. So clearly he's a very different character. I just hope that they don't take him a little bit too far. But I want to see, when he's fighting those aliens, he looks a little bit more brutal when he's like punching them. So we'll see. That I'm looking forward to him, I think, the most. because he's always been one of my favorite characters. Now, what I will say, though, is I have a feeling that he's going to end up getting his either a new suit or like a cleaner version of his past suit, maybe. But I think an updated version, possibly with chainmail. I think he's going to get one of those. And like to see that reveal, possibly at the end or whatever, maybe in the next movie, hopefully this movie, to see him like back, like Captain America's back, that's going to be really, I think that'll be really cool to see. Black Widow, yeah, I'm the same as Alex. Like, I really don't care about her almost at all. But her new look is kind of interesting to me, where she does look totally different. That it's kind of like, I get you guys are on the run, but you stand out way more than you ever did. You have white hair. You clearly shouldn't have white hair at your age. Or like the white and the green. It's like, who are you trying to, I don't know. I just picture like an insect when I think of that. Kind of like Mantis. Hawkeye, same thing. I don't know how much I actually care. I just hope he's kind of cool in this movie. I hope he actually serves some kind of purpose. I actually think that I have a feeling he's going to be one of the cooler characters, to be honest. I think he's going to be, I think he's going to have the most tragedy in this movie, which is going to bring about that change. And that's going to be, again, I almost think, because in Avengers 2, I think the takeaway was, yeah, okay, Hawkeye is pretty cool, actually. He knows that he's just a guy with a bow and arrow, but he still does it. So I think this movie is going to be one of those, like, yeah, this guy is really up against something he absolutely can't handle, but yet he is. And if his family does die or whatever happens that is like a tragic whatever, maybe even just like severely hurt or whatever, and for him to still be doing it, I think that's going to be like, he really does define, like, he truly is a superhero. Because he doesn't have to be doing this, but he is. I really like Thor. Basically, after Thor Ragnarok, I don't care what they do with Thor at this point. Just have him on the screen, and I'm going to like him. That's pretty much how I feel about him right now. I really, really like what they've done with Thor. And him getting a new weapon, and like I was saying earlier, like him essentially being a whole new character now, is really exciting for me. It really is. Because Thor 1 and Thor the Second Thor weren't the best movies at all. But now I think they have they have a whole new like chance with this character, which is awesome. Iron Man, the new suit, I'd have to see it on screen more to like. It's way less Iron Man-y than it was like if you were to look back at Iron Man 1. I was not a fan of the first Avengers movie Iron Man suit. Look, I don't know. There was something about it I didn't like it. But I do like Iron Man 1 suit. There's just something classic about it. Looks cool, very comic accurate. But I do like what he was wearing in Civil War. I liked all the little lights all over his body. That was very Ultimate Iron Man-like. But this suit looks, I almost want to call it more alien or more like knight-ish, because of it looks more like knight armor with like engraves in it, and it, I don't know. Well, I think I'll have to see it in action for me to really like it, to see how it like morphs and stuff. I just hope that it's not too like, whoa, this is Iron Man? What the heck? I just don't want it to be like Transformers, because we all know how good Transformers are. And again, like Spider-Man, I like the suit that he gave, like the original suit that he wore in, not the one that Peter Parker made, the Tony Stark original Spider-Man suit that he wore in Civil War, that he wore in Spider-Man Homecoming. I like that suit a lot. I'm not really into the Iron Spider suit for the movies. What I am interested to see is how they utilize the tech, because apparently the spider legs are actually part of this suit. So if he ends up using those like for combat, like where he's fighting and he's able to like use the legs, that might be pretty cool. To see all the different technologies in that suit, that actually might be pretty cool to see. But visually, how the suit actually looks, I'm not too into it, unfortunately. And Spider-Man is other than Captain America and Thor and Hulk and Star-Lord, Spider-Man is my first favorite. So, yeah. Now for Thanos, he just looks awesome. I hope that he actually does end up getting that new armor that I saw for the toys, and now that you guys saw it too, if you haven't already, from the picture that we have up. That new armor is very, very different than what he's been wearing. It looks very cool. The old armor looked very like Centauri-ish from the first Avengers. I didn't like that. This one, he looks legitimately awesome. But I really, really like how he looks without the armor. I think he looks really cool. And it fits his whole like ascended, like I talked in the last video, like this new like monk type way about him. It really fits. So, for the most part, I do like the changes that they've done to these characters, like costumes or looks, whatever. I do like them. Some I'm not too into, but we haven't seen all that much yet, so I have to see more to really be able to say whether I like it, yes or no. But what I will say is, seeing all these characters look different, going into this movie, it does have me a little bit nervous because it's like, but I was kind of hoping to see the characters that we were like growing up with and we've been seeing over the last 10 years. I was kind of hoping to see them go up against Thanos, not these new versions of them. And that is something that is kind of bothering me and is worrying me. And again, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in Avengers 4. They might end up getting that. We might end up getting that. But there is something about like, why do you got to change like 5 different characters? At the very least, why do you got to change Captain America so much, Black Widow so much, even Hawkeye so much, and kind of even Iron Man so much? Like the original group that was in the first Avengers and who essentially started the Marvel Universe. Why are we changing them so much where they're essentially like not even recognizable? So that kind of thing is bothering me slightly. But I'm not going to hold it against the movie. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in excited. And, I'm going to enjoy it no matter what. And I trust the Russo brothers because they've done an amazing job in Winter Soldier. Civil War was amazing. And I know, Marvel is in good hands with these Russo brothers. So I have total faith in them.
So let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think of these changes to these characters? Do you like them? Would you want to see more? Let us know. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. We got videos like this. This Avengers community series is going to continue going on the next several weeks, the next 7, I believe. We're going to have a ton of stuff post the movie coming out. We'll have a review. We'll have a ton of stuff once we actually do see the movie. Very, very excited for it. And so we're just going to keep on chucking through. So we'll see you for next Thursday's topic.